Any advice that you'd like to give to anyone who's aspiring to be a sports person, or
Just
the ones who are just getting into their career? Because, like you said, you came to know how the world really works very young. But there are people who choose the usual route. Like,
of course, yeah.
So what is the advice that you have?
Okay, so if I break it up into two, so for the people who have gone the more academic route, the one thing I'll say is that regardless of how young you are, start picking up jobs now. So be it a coaching job, because obviously I used to come back and do the summer camps with you and Tommy and stuff like that, but start doing jobs like summer camp jobs. If it is a sport, and sport, if it's gymnastics, music, whatever, just put yourself in that work environment and kind of learn the ropes from early. And if your parents obviously work for a company, literally go into work with your parents and just kind of be a fly in the wall and learn from that. Because I think being in that environment, and even if it's not your experience, but if you're looking at other people going through certain experiences, you learn so much, man. Because I feel like sometimes, especially for people my age, if not younger, like we tend to kind of seclude ourselves in our little circles, and we look at like the older people and be like, oh, you guys are a bit old, you guys are a bit boring, and like you guys just don't get it. We're a different generation, stuff like that. Which, yes, I agree we are, but the amount of experience and the amount of hours clocked for most of you guys is stuff that we are miles behind. And if you start like picking up odd jobs here or there and learning, and I think in other countries that's a bit more normal, but obviously in the UAE I wouldn't say it's as normal just yet.
It's just started because now there are a lot of internship opportunities.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you start doing stuff like that, it's honestly, it makes the world of a difference. So that's more of the academic route. But I think on the sporting side, very cliche again, but just don't give up, man. Literally don't. Regardless of who tells you no, regardless of how long it takes, regardless of the route you have to take. So, a bit of a backstory. I do coaching for elite football on Saturdays. Basically, one of the boys, he was playing for Dubai City under 23, and then now he's just going to America. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but yeah. But he's going to America for a university that side. So when I was saying good luck to him, literally his parting words were, man, it's not a part of my dream, but I'll go anyway, type of thing. And I just said to him, like, bro, it's similar to what I just said now. Our journey isn't a map. You can't like draw it and say, this is my route, this is what I want to do. Yeah, obviously all of us have goals and all of us have a picture that we've kind of painted along our line. But sometimes you have to go far south to get to north. You know what I'm saying? You have to go the complete opposite, or in your eyes, what may seem complete opposite to the plan in order to get to the final destination. So I think it's good to obviously have aspirations, it's good to have a plan, but sometimes when life kind of gives you a bit of a diversion, and if it means playing in the UAE, or if it means playing in India, if it means playing in, I have a friend, I was talking to him today, he's playing in Indonesia. We played together in Spain, and he is, as we say, he's a baller. He is crazy, absolute solid centre-back, and for me, he should be playing at least in the Spanish second division. That's how good he is. But just because of life, it hasn't worked out for him. He was captain of Corinthians under 17 at the time, whatever. But he's playing obviously in Indonesia, making decent money. But like, again, his route is still the same. He obviously wants to go back, feed into Europe, and then eventually play for Brazil and stuff like that. But I feel like sometimes you kind of have to be a bit open-minded. And those who know me will probably laugh at this because I've been extremely close-minded for most of my life. But I think that's like one of the biggest things I've learned. The older you get, like, there's nothing wrong with doing a couple of things on the side to keep yourself afloat, or just keep yourself happy as well. Because if you just say, this is my goal, this is what I'm doing, and I'm not going to divert from that, sometimes you'll literally be stuck in a cave or in a hole, so to say. And you can't work your way out of it unless you use a ladder and just choose another route. And choosing another route doesn't mean you've given up. It doesn't mean that's the end of the journey, but it just means you've gone a bit of a longer route to avoid traffic sometimes, you know? So, yeah, I think the biggest thing, just to kind of summarize, is just don't be afraid to divert. And regardless of which way you've gone, just believe in yourself, man. Just don't lose that internal faith. Because that internal conversation is the most important. I don't care what anyone says. Like, that conversation you have with yourself is the most important conversation you have during the course of your life. So